Thanks for logging on to myfoxhurricane.com. Still watching two tropical storms. We have Tropical Storm Bret. We now have Tropical Storm Cindy. Now, you look at the two circles and you're looking at this one with Bret and you're saying, wait a second, the circle, what's going on with this? Well, we've been talking about this for several days. That wind shear would be increasing over this system and it's really going to start to struggle. So while you see some of this convection moving into the circle, you're still seeing a lot of it just kind of hanging back. That's that strong wind shear moving over the system, which is now starting to kind of pull this system apart, and it's going to continue to increase, and it's going to continue to give this system problems as we go through the next day or so before this system eventually just kind of dissipates, probably sometime tomorrow, if not sooner. And then we also have Cindy, which is, for the time being, getting a little better organized, a little more organization. You see that little flare up of convection, some of it dies down, but overall it is doing better, but eventually the wind shear will become an issue for that one as well. So here's the latest on Tropical Storm Bret. Top winds right now, they've decreased to 60 miles an hour. Remember, for a time, just before it moved over the islands, it was gaining a little bit of intensity. It was right on the cusp of becoming a tropical storm to a hurricane. It stayed a tropical storm with winds of 70 miles an hour. It's moving to the west at 21. Now it starts that weakening phase as it moves into that stronger wind shear. But this track really hasn't changed all that much. Maybe a little bit of shift over the past few days down to the south. But other than that, it is basically unchanged. And simple reason why, the steering currents are strong, and that wind shear will eventually do its trick and just kind of pull that system apart. Tropical Storm Cindy, top winds right now have increased to 50 miles an hour. It's moving to the west-northwest at 16. And for the past several days, we've been talking about, even though initially it looked like it was playing follow the leader behind the other storm, Bret, it's not moving in that same direction. It moves more to the northwest, which is actually good news because it stays away from all land areas and eventually it will dissipate. Now, we do have Bermuda up here, but it should weaken enough that, if anything, it's basically some rain that they will get with this, maybe some gusty winds, but it does look like, at least at this point, it may stay far enough to the west of this system that it should not cause much in the way of any issues. Just kind of look at the wind shear, kind of interesting to watch this. Here it is with Bret working its way to the west, that strong wind. We've been talking about this for several days, and that's why you still see Cindy gaining a little bit more intensity, because that strongest wind shear is still sitting just to the north of this system. But eventually it moves into that, and that's where you see it just dissipate. And then with Bret working its way over Central America, southern Mexico, the interesting thing with this is it looks like some of that moisture with this will start to be absorbed by a developing system in the Pacific, so that may add in to that system over in the other basin, the Pacific Basin. The only other area we're watching is just this one tropical wave that's worked its way off the coast of Africa. A fairly weak system right now. No signs that that will develop over the next several days, but we'll watch it and we'll keep you updated on everything right here on myfoxhurricane.com.